Hi, Jen here from Positive Plus Dog Training. Today we're going to have our next puppy lesson. And in this puppy lesson, we will be focusing on a little bit of self-control and good manners. So this can also be followed by any adolescent dog or any dog really who's learning some self-control and some basic manners. So in your previous puppy videos, you would have learned how to teach your dog to sit and lie down and the wonderful game of Find It. In this lesson, I will be using the assistance of a good friend of mine, Bradley. This is actually a video of Bradley that from last summer. Bradley is learning to settle on his place, and he's learning how to leave it. Those are his words, leave it. You can also use the word off, basically meaning don't touch. Don't touch, leave it alone, back away from whatever it is. And we are also using our wonderful touch. So puppy touches his nose to your hand to help guide Bradley and interrupt some puppy nipping. And towards the end of the video, you'll see how Bradley learns to not use his mouth on me. So here we go. I'm going to open up this video. Okay. So I start off here by using my target training, so teaching or practicing Bradley touching his nose to my hand. And the second that his nose hits my hand, I say the word yes, and I follow with a treat. So in this lesson for Bradley, he has already started to learn to follow my hand as a target. I'm going to pause right here so I can come back. So he's already learned how to target my hand for the word yes and for to follow with a treat. So here we are using the word touch. So I say the word touch, then he follows with his nose touching my hand, and I immediately say the word yes, and I follow with a treat. And on a side note, you can also use a clicker if you're used to clicker training and that's something that you're would like to do. Other words, the word yes works just as nicely and for practical purposes. And so if teaching your dog to touch his nose to your hand is a brand new concept, if that's a brand new idea for him or her, then what you really want to do is just hold out your hand in front of your dog's nose. Try to hold it in a way that doesn't look like you're asking your dog for a down or for a paw shake or any hand signals that they're already used to. So you would start with holding your hand. I'm going to come back and okay, sorry, I just wanted to come back to if you haven't taught your dog to touch already, you're just going to hold your hand in a way that doesn't look like you're asking for a sit or a down or a paw shake or anything like that. And you're just going to put it right in front of their nose. So typically what happens when we put our hands right in front of our dog's noses is they will automatically sniff it, especially if they've gotten treats from our hands before. So they'll automatically move forward to sniff it. And as soon as their nose touches that hand, you're going to say the word yes and follow with a treat. And basically you will repeat the same step several times until your dog is starting to purposely touch your hand with a little bit of emphasis. So that means that you have purposeful contact. So there might be a little bit of actual pressure there. You might feel like your hand is going to move away or something like that, but it's very intentional pressure that your dog is applying on your hand. At that point, that's usually when I add the word touch, so that I know that my dog knows the action, and now it makes a lot of sense to him when I tell him what it's called. So back to the video. So that's touch. We're going to go back to our video. Just play that again just to wrap this. Good. So here now I've moved into rewarding Bradley also for settling down, especially when he let go of that sound, the bird sound. So I'm actually going to go back to that one more time because that was kind of interesting to watch there. So if you have a dog that is easily distracted by things around them and you want them to learn to let go of some of that intensity right here. Yes, good job. So as soon as he lets go of the alertness, that is when I say my word yes and I give him the treat. He also relaxed his body at that point as well. Yes.
I have the word touch. Yes.
Good.
Touch. Yes. Bet we can get more than one touch. Yes. Yes. Touch. Yes. Good puppy.
So here at that point, Bradley has practiced multiple touches and also touches that move. When you're practicing at home with your puppy, you will take it a little bit slow in that you will add to the level of difficulty as your puppy gets better. So I had mentioned starting with a movement towards your hand until you feel the nose on your hand. And then once we're feeling the nose on our hand with a little bit of emphasis, a little bit of pressure, purposeful pressure, then we're adding the word touch. And now, once our dog adds that purposeful pressure to our contact with our hand when they hear the word touch. Anytime they hear the word touch and anytime we place our hand in front of their nose or near their face, now we're ready to start moving that target around and we're ready to play around with getting multiple targets before we say yes and give a treat. So work on one at a time. First, you're going to work on movement, getting your puppy to follow your hand left and then right and then up and then down. And then when that's going really well and you can ask for 2 touches before you say the word yes and follow with a treat, then you can start to also have bigger movements like Bradley is doing, from all the way to the left or all the way to the right to all the way to the left. You can even start playing around with getting touches between your legs, behind your back, all kinds of fun stuff. And we'll go back to the video for our next step.
Touch. Yes. Good boy. You're so good. You're so good.
Now I am working into a little bit of on your place work with Bradley. So I've fixed his towel so that it's nice and flat for him and easy for him to start to settle on. And this is the first stages of on your place. I am looking for Bradley to choose to be on his towel. I'm looking for Bradley to start lowering his body posture into eventually a calm down if he can. Good, yes. So you can see how I can use my body and I can use my target training to bring my puppy back to what he was doing and also helping him out a little bit there. So I used my target training to help him lie down. And that's an important part of the video right there, is that for on your place training, the ideal would be to allow your pup to think their way through moving onto the towel, into a sit, and then lowering their body into a down. However, if you find that your puppy is staring at you for a little bit of time, just like Bradley was, and not quite getting the next step after they get onto the towel and they sit, or maybe even after they get onto the towel, they're not quite getting it, they're just kind of staring at you. Rather than allowing them to end that training session feeling bored and frustrated, what we'd rather do is help our puppy to end successfully. So I chose to use my target training for that. The main reason for using my target training as opposed to any physical movement back into his place is because I would really like Bradley to ultimately choose to be in that position. That is really how I'm training Bradley to be able to do this on his own later on. So by using target training while I am giving him some assistance so that he can end successfully and I can feel successful that I got him into a nice calm down on his place before we ended our training session, what I'd rather do is guide him a little bit. So even though I did add that guidance, he ultimately made the choice to follow my hand into those positions, which means that his brain is still learning a little bit more about how to get himself into that calm down rather than me having to physically position him there or end in a way that he doesn't feel successful or that I don't feel successful. I'm going to just play that last little piece again, just so you can see how I made that happen. So here's where Bradley is not quite figuring it out. So he's about to get away. I use my body to get him back on the towel, and then my target to help bring his body into that down. And he actually gives us the perfect calm down now. I'm going to pause that. His right hip is up and his left hip lands down. It's starting to roll up again here, but just in one frame further than that, you can see, here we go, that he falls with that hip, that left hip down and the right hip up. And that is that perfect, nice, calm down. So, which is why I'm so happy here and trying so hard not to squeal too high pitch to excite him. Good. And he slowly starts to roll out. Oh, nice. And he's still staying on his towel, so he hasn't left me. And now here I am going right into his leave it. You can use the word leave it or you can use the word off. I personally like to use the word off because it's easy for me to say and it's something that I think of right away when I think about something dangerous falling on the ground in the street or off my kitchen counter, like a sharp chicken bone or something like that. And so as a result, I like to use the word off. However, for Bradley, we used the word leave it. That was his owner's preference. And so it's a valuable option as well. No problem with using the word leave it or anything else. Really, you could say Chiquita banana. It doesn't really matter. The point is that you use the same command for each behavior that you're teaching your pup and stay consistent with it across the family and certainly within yourself. So let's go. Okay, so you will notice that I say the command once. I hold my hand nice and still. Now the treat is in my closed fist. I'm not getting too creative just yet. It's in my closed fist. I want my puppy to be successful, so I'm making it easy for him to be successful. He cannot gain access to the treat. It's in my closed fist. And I'm also keeping my hand nice and still on purpose. It's important for my puppy to learn to move themselves away from objects that they can't have instead of waiting for me to move it away for them. So I keep my hand nice and still and I'm patiently awaiting for Bradley to move his nose, paws, tongue, his whole body away from me. And the second that I get that movement away from me, I say the word yes, and then I follow up with telling him to take it, he can have it.
Leave it. Yes. Leave it.
Take it. Good boy. And now here you're going to see me working a little bit with his mouthing. So we're taking a play break, but puppy nipping is something that we work with all the time. It never ends. And what that means is that we are not going to engage with our puppy as long as we feel their teeth or their mouth open on us. I really like using my target training as well to direct that energy in the mouth rather than getting upset all the time. I can give my puppy something more productive to do with his mouth, and also encouraging him to keep his mouth closed, because when we touch, the mouth is closed and we're touching with our nose. But one of the most important things that you'll see me do there, and I'll play it one more quick time, is that every time Bradley goes to open his mouth onto my hand, I disengage. I remove my contact from him. I pick my hand up, and that's really all I need to teach him that. I can add a ouch really loud or something like that if that's helpful, but even just taking your hand off, letting your puppy know that every time you open your mouth close to my hand or directed to my hand, I am going to remove myself. I'll play that for you one more time. So as long as he is not opening his mouth on me, I can pat him. But the second he opens his mouth, I remove my hand. All done, letting him know that the training exercise is over. And this is our reminder that, oops, here we go, sorry. This is our reminder also that training session should always be short and sweet. We want to end on a fun note, on a positive note. We don't want to end when our puppy is tired or bored or frustrated and just wants to walk away, or that we feel those emotions either. We want to end our training sessions where we're both feeling like we're having a lot of fun and that we want to do it again next time. So with Bradley, I want to make sure that he's not too tired. Puppies as young as Bradley was in that video, so I think he was probably about 8 weeks there, maybe 9. But with puppies as young as that, and any dog who's new to the training world in particular, but puppies, just like children, their attention spans are very short. So they can definitely get bored and frustrated early. So you want to mix up the training. So couple of seconds to a couple of minutes of one behavior, a little bit of play. So it might mean that during the play, we might be working on some self-control. You'll see some videos on how to do that with toys as well. So keep it watching us. But we'll also mix up that training session. So a little bit of play where we can work on self-control, but then back to another behavior that we're teaching. So we started with the target training. We moved into a little bit of on-place training, so settling on place, and then we ended with off or leave it. And of course, puppy nipping is something that is we're working on 24/7 when we're making contact with the pup. So that's also something that we could be doing during play as well, focusing on not engaging when our puppies open their mouth, and also only engaging when there's a little bit of self-control. So I hope you enjoyed this puppy lesson. And I hope you enjoyed Allie's sit and down and Allie's find it. So these first 3 videos that you will receive should help you get a good start, and we will keep going. Don't forget that Wednesday night at 7 p.m. you can join us on Zoom. All that means is that you go to our website, positiveplus.com, and that's P-A-W, positiveplus.com. Go to our website and sign up for our online training. We have Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. That one's free. you just have to go and sign up. That way we can, you'll immediately get your link onto Zoom to join us, and we can invite you in. And we're going to get together, question and answer, so you can ask any questions that come to your mind. And as long as it is a question that's easy for us to answer with the group, we are happy to do that. And socialize. So bring your puppies. Let us see your puppies. Tell us about your puppies. Tell us about the funniest thing that they did this week. Or tell us about something that they're working on, something that you need a little bit of help with. That's what we're here for. So we can all work together. And I bet you that there's a question that someone else will ask that you didn't think of yourself, or that you forgot you had. So please join us Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. And all you have to do is go to our website and sign up, and it's free. That's it. That's all you have to do. See you there, and we'll see you at our next lesson. Bye for now. Jen from Positive Plus Dog Training.